Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's webinar, Digging Deeper, Civil Site Design and Project Assist. This webinar is brought to you by Applied Software. My name is Caitlin Dunn, and I'm pleased to be your moderator today. So first of all, we encourage you to take advantage of our fully customizable webinar console. If you need to mute yourself, please do so. We are recording for future reference. We do have time to take questions at the end, so please email those in if you have any questions. Like I mentioned, the webinar is being recorded for your convenience. You will be receiving an email with the recording link for future reference. In addition, you can find Applied Software on LinkedIn, Facebook, and Instagram to make meaningful connections, receive special offers, and stay up to date on the newest innovations. Be sure to visit our website, asti.com, to see how to achieve your design and business objectives through our innovative solutions, training options, and services. And you can find a schedule of upcoming events, webinars, and training on our calendar at asti.com/calendar. So make sure to check that out. I am very pleased to introduce Lance Maidlow and Kenneth Driscoll. Lance is the president of Chasm Tech, and Kenneth is a senior application specialist at Applied Software. They both have years of experience in the industry. Thank you so much for joining us today, guys. Take it away.
Okay, so hopefully we're recording now. Apologize for the confusion we had earlier, but what I wanted to do today was introduce Project Assist. And it was brought out for a couple reasons. It was first AI tool that is available for any civil design software that I'm aware of. And the driving thing behind it was really problems that every civil engineering firm that we've talked to is having. One is they're really busy, so introducing new technology is a concern to them. Number two, they're understaffed, and it takes a long time for somebody, a junior designer or an intern to get up to speed in Civil 3D. So it was those two problems that we're trying to solve with it. And we start off with the base Civil 3D. In this case, I've got a surface created. I'm just bring up this toggle display here. Here's the existing ground surface. That's typical. So, that's the existing ground surface. And then on top of that, we have a number of alignments that have been laid out for the roadways. And that's why you see me turn off that existing ground. We're only looking at what we need to see for the design. So we have some road center lines. We've got bus bays. We've got widenings. And if you look at these alignments, for example, if I click on this, see that it's been given a name, Delwan Bus Bay. If I'll pick this one, is given a name of a street or a court. If I click on these ones, which are widenings, I've got a Delwan widening west, a Delwan widening east. How you name those alignments trains the AI as to what it believes you want to do with it. And as over time, it'll just get better and better at that process. Why don't I just take a look at the AI tools? We have some basic settings that you start off with. If I just click on, I don't want to spend a lot of time on this, but you're just saying what are the default templates that you want to use, what codes, some default values, some definitions for cul-de-sac. So I just want to go back and do one thing differently to introduce this, is to look at our templates. Now, template is just really a cross section. This is what you want to lay over top of the center line alignment. So we're just coming left and right of the center line, and you can see we're going 12 feet at -2%, and we're calling that the left edge of travel way, and then we're dropping down to the invert, the top of curb, the back of curb, sidewalk inner, sidewalk outer. That is how civil site design applies the road templates. It's like a cross section, but you're not having to deal with assemblies here. They're very easy to modify. They're dynamic as you modify them. And at the end, when you want to generate a corridor, it will create the assemblies for you directly. So that's the one really major difference between civil site design and civil 3D. So having said that, then, if we go to the AI and run Project Assist, I'm going to read all of those alignments. And it says, okay, well, this is a bus bay. It's a road edge connection. L1 is a road string, road edge, road string, road edge. Turn this into different components if you like. You could say really an existing road edge. Same thing here, it's an existing road edge. Don't do a design, just put it in there so we can create a cul-de-sac. A curb return. So if I confirm this, I was going through and reading this in a lot more detail, and it's saying, well, just a second. Okay, so we can see. So when we get to Del 1, you can see it's highlighted in here, and I say, okay, I just want to apply our standard template to it. Down to the bus bay, horizontal control, and we want to maintain the crossfall. You could create a separate string altogether that you can do an independent design on. But in this case, we just want to do that horizontal control. Same thing now for the widening, okay, or this is actually the turn lane up at the top. Down we have the widening east, we have the widening east, the widening west. Let me see if I can just get this out here so I can pan. And it's just going through each of these alignments saying, what do you want to do with it? And we can get down here to Rogers Lane, which is the long one, and I want to add a cul-de-sac to the end of it. I can do the same thing with Sydney Court. I want to add a cul-de-sac. So you see, it's just going through and saying, what do you want to do with all of these? And then I want to do the curb returns. I'm just going to actually ignore this one. I don't need to do this model builder at this point. So having gone through this, and I can just say compute. And this is going to take a few minutes, but it's taking that template. Okay, it's doing the widenings. It did the turning curves. Okay, it's putting in all the other roads. Next, going to build out the curb returns. And think of this as just your preliminary design as we go through this. It's saying, let's take the templates you've assigned, apply them to all the alignments, go through and do the cleanup at the curb returns. That's been computed and done. And remember, anything that's done at this point is just your preliminary design. It's not your final design. It's a preliminary design. But it gets you there to the point where you can get into your detailed design very, very quickly. Let's build out the cul-de-sac. It's going to do the last cul-de-sac here. Then what it will do is write out a PDF report giving each step that it has taken, so that a senior designer can review it and say, yes, that makes sense. So the drawing can be shared back and forth. It has a report saying what it has done and why it did it. So it really gets you to the starting point very, very quickly. So I think in a matter of about 5 or 6 minutes here, we've created this initial design, and what we're waiting for now is for the PDF report to be generated, and it's going to tell us what it did. It's taken a little bit longer than I would like, but I'm not having to go through and detail this all out myself. Okay, so this is what the report looks like. Okay, so it's applied a template. It's added new sections. So when we look at this, look at one here. He's added a variation, right? Added travel way. What does that mean? Well, you can click on the video link. That will take you right to the video. So not only is it doing it, it's explaining what it did and why it did it, and giving you a link right to videos that may help in that process. Okay, so that's really what I wanted to show you there. This is the report of what was done. Okay, are there any questions at that point as to what's happened yet? Well, we're in chat mode. Now, digging a little bit deeper into civil site design, let's go over here to the roads environment, and let's just edit the profile. I want to take a look at Delwan here, and this is where it's really impressive, the software, because not only did it lay out this template, it's also done a best fit design for us on the system. And this is the vertical grading editor. It's probably one of the most impressive things about the software is how easy it is to use these tools to grade the highway or the road design. And if I just took one thing here, which is just saying, look, I want to balance the cut and fill on this road, and think about what the effort it would take in Civil 3 to do it. Gone through and done that for us here. Okay. And there we go. So it's taken that template, it's looking at the materials that we have for the subgrades, and it's now balanced the cut and fill on here. The other intriguing thing here is it's showing you where the crossroads are and where the constraints are. So we have Marin as the one of the crossroads. So if I just open the, or it's nice to have two monitors. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to shrink this up a little bit. So here, if I come up onto the main street here, and I want to just move anywhere, right? I can just grab an IP. Now you watch as I move this down, you can see that Marin on the other end is controlled, all tied together, including the curb returns. So what the Project Assisted is it not only um, assign the templates and build out a model for that, but it's also then created the best fit vertical design, and it's all tied together, including the curb returns. So you have really an automated system tying everything together. Another key feature of civil site design is model viewer, which is this dynamic interface, so that as I make changes in the vertical design here, it's also updating this rendering. So let's just go here, L1. I'm going to right click here. I'm going to edit the vertical grading editor, one we were just looking at. And I'm going to take the Marin tie-in, which is here. Just move this up and down here. So let's just take this and grab that IP and we'll move it down. You're going to see it update over here at the same time. So it's really a dynamic tie-in in both. So you can see it's doing the update. And those changes are automatically reflected in the line as we make the cut and fill changes. So this is a beautiful way of looking at it. This is also the tool that you can use for drive-throughs. It's automatically rendered for you, and you can toggle on and off different components as to what you want to do. So that was what I wanted to show today on civil site design, but focusing on the project assist, and then from there we tie back into, all the other tools that's available. One of the key things is that you have the ability now to just create your profiles, Civil 3D profiles. So you can make changes here in the vertical grading editor in civil site design, and then you just press the create profiles, and it'll generate all the profiles for you as Civil 3D profiles. Taking a minute for it to run out, but it's doing the profiles for all of the roads, all the curb returns. Okay, so those are your Civil 3D profiles. They're just using whatever your existing styles are. So we're now back into standard Civil 3D. You can make edits here, and they'll update the, so basically bidirectionally. If you make a change in your profile with Civil 3D, it'll update the profiles in site design. So the idea is to use the automation that we have available in Civil Site Design and tie that right back into Civil 3D. So it's a smooth transition. It will never affect your production. One of the key things here as well is right at the end is you can just say, I want to create a corridor. I'm not going to push that because then I'll be talking for about 5 minutes, but it will create the corridor for you automatically there. Ryan, did you have any comments on Ryan's my Civil 3D expert. Did you have any comments on the corridor, or is there something I missed here?
No, I think that you've gone over it pretty well. You may just kind of a side note to like the knuckles and things. There's other design strings that can be applied afterwards when building the knuckles. And of course, you have access to editing cul-de-sacs through those tool sets as well.
And creating, creating or changing your curb returns and so forth. So this is a specialized knuckle tool. I don't have those alignments in here. I would have been demonstrating them. That was one of the things that, but it's there, and you've got the ability to use different styles, entering different information. and this is a sort of a separate little exercise all on its own that we like to do. So that is as far as I was able to go. I certainly open up for questions at this point.
Well, I know over at Southern A&E, they do a lot of site work. Did you guys have questions in reference to site components, or are you guys looking more towards road work? Stan? Oh, I'm sorry, Elizabeth.
Taking it all in. I mean, Ken, honestly, sometimes I watch some of these and I feel like we're a little behind the 8 ball.
Well, he already knows that.
But it seems nice and stuff seems to work great.
Except for when we do
It's
it.
just always a matter of us getting it and learning the ins and outs of it.
No, definitely. I mean, some of the functionality that Lance kind of showed specifically with road work, as a civil person, just really getting in the alignment on a surface and then being able to kind of balance out that road. I mean, it just gives you better insight in terms of if you were doing mass grading or grading lots around that site also, to be able to look at that. But again, specifically because you guys do a lot of schools and things like that, I just was making reference to sites, site work.
If you're doing schools or commercial, high-density residential, yeah, that is a separate demonstration altogether. That's sort of what this area here is for. But it has some very, very powerful tools for doing that. Balancing your cut and a lot of this type of thing, you're really saying, okay, well, I've got a roadway, and but then I'm tying different things to it. You do widening for the parking lots. Is different type of analysis, but there's automation tools to help there as well.
Yeah, that seems a little more relevant of what we do there.
So have you guys downloaded a trial?
No, not yet.
We just got a new CAD manager on board, and we were waiting for him to come on board and sort of take ownership of the updating and what needs to be done. So that's just happened in the last couple of weeks. So this will be one of his tasks.
Oh, okay. So you guys pretty much finished with your template over there?
It's an ever work in progress.
Yeah, it always will be.
We're trying.
So are you currently using it?
It's an ever work in progress.
Well,